Now then folks, let me tell you this, you could be losing thousands of pounds from your retirement savings and you might not even know it. If you're like the majority of the UK population, you'll have multiple pension pots scattered across different providers, and here's the thing that nobody tells you. One of those forgotten pensions could be the difference between the retirement you want and the retirement you've just got to accept. And there's a pause there because it's not going very fast. So the question today is this: should you consolidate your pensions, or could that actually cost you more in the long run? Now before we get started, if you're feeling a little bit lost about where to begin with your pensions, don't you worry, we are here to help, even if it's just to point you in the right direction. There's a link in the description where you can learn more about how we support people like you, and if it feels like we might be a great fit, you can easily book a free, no pressure chat with one of our experts whenever it works for you. Right, let's get back on topic. Now, the way you manage your pensions today can have a massive impact on your future goals and the lifestyle you'll enjoy in retirement. If your pensions are scattered across lots of old employers or outdated plans, which is really common, not only are you likely to be paying unnecessary fees, but you may also be missing out on better investment performance and modern features that give you more control over your money. In fact, it's estimated that at least 4.8 million pension pots are considered to be lost amongst the UK population. And nearly 1 in 10 workers believe they could have lost a pension pot worth more than 10 grand. That's a bit scary. The problem is that most people don't even know what they've got or where it is, and that's exactly where mistakes happen. Now later in this video, I'm going to reveal a hidden fee that many people pay without even realizing it, and how consolidating could help you stop that drain immediately. Now, according to the Department for Work and Pensions, the average UK worker will have, wait for it, 11 different jobs during their career. Now, since the introduction of auto-enrollment in 2012, which requires employers to automatically enroll eligible employees, that's typically those aged 22 or over and earning at least 10 grand, into a workplace pension scheme unless they opt out. So many workers have ended up with multiple pension pots held by different providers as they change jobs, and lots of those pots are actually quite small because they might not have stayed at the employer for very long. Now, when you consolidate your pensions, you bring all of your pots into one place, one manageable modern pension pot that instantly simplifies everything that's gone before it. And instead of managing 5 or more separate pension pots with different providers, you'll have just one statement, one login, and a single point of contact when you need support. That's one pension to rule them all. Now, during your initial free consultation, we typically review how many pensions you've got and assess whether consolidating them is actually the right option for you, because sometimes it's not. Now, if you're unsure where some of your pensions are, there are straightforward ways to track them down. You can start by checking any old paperwork or emails for pension statements. You can also use the government's free pension tracing service by visiting the gov.uk website. That helps you locate pensions from previous employers. You can contact former employers or previous pension providers directly to see if they've got anything logged for you. Now, once you've found all your pots, you'll know exactly what you're working with and be in a much stronger position to consolidate and manage your savings effectively. Now, when everything's in one pot, not only is it easier to update your details, but you also reduce the risk of losing track of your money. The more organized you are in all walks of life, and that's certainly the case with pensions, the more clarity you'll have when calculating how much you've saved and what you'll need to reach your retirement goals. But even if you know where all your pensions are, that doesn't mean that they're working in your favour. So how do you know if your pension is actually performing? Because most people who come to us, if we ask them, how's your investment performance? They'll go, I don't know. Now, a major reason people consolidate is to improve their investment options. Older pensions in particular often come with really limited investment choices or default options that may not match your goals or your risk profile. We often come across older pensions that might just have 3, 4, 5, 6 funds to choose from, and that's pretty diabolical in today's world because there's over 7,500 funds you can pick from, but not all of those were created equal. Now, by moving everything into a single modern plan, you can tailor your investments. You can choose how much risk to take and what kind of assets your money is invested in. Some newer providers offer really nice digital dashboards, mobile phone access, and real-time performance tracking, which older providers almost certainly do not. And this kind of visibility can help you make smarter decisions pensions and maybe even just care that little bit more about your money. Certainly, it'll potentially grow your pension more effectively. Now, this is something we actively review with our clients. We walk them through where their money is currently invested and what the potential is for doing something different and how we might optimize it moving forward. However, a high-performing plan means nothing if your fees are silently eating away at your returns. So every pension you leave behind could be charging your management fees. It probably is, in fact, even if no one is contributing to it anymore. And over time, that means you're paying multiple layers of fees for money that's just sitting there doing potentially very little. Now, some providers advertise low fees but hide the true costs in the small print, and cheeky little devils, under terms like investment charges, contribution fees, inactivity fees. By consolidating, you can compare fees across providers and choose a plan with a clear, simple structure, and that's where we come in because we are all of market. We can go anywhere we like for our clients' pensions, and we pick the very best in our opinion. Now, lowering fees even slightly can help improve outcomes for retirement, especially over 10 or 20 years. But saving on fees is definitely not the only reason consolidation gives you more financial control. Far from it. What if you want to access your money earlier or more flexibly? And in this day and age, that tends to be what most people want in the early years of their retirement particularly. Now, since 2015, pension rules in the UK have changed. You're no longer forced to buy an annuity. That is old school. You can still buy an annuity, but in this day and age, it's usually not the preferred option. I think we've got a YouTube video all about that somewhere else down there or there or there or there. You can now access your pension through income drawdown. That means you can take your money out as and when you need it, and you can be flexible. And as I've said, many older pension plans just do not allow you to do that. You might find yourself forced to buy an annuity, which is not a good idea being forced into anything really. You do it on an advised basis and you make good decisions. Now, by consolidating into a modern pension, you can gain full control. You're in the driving seat. You can leave the money invested, you can draw it down in stages, you can do monthly, quarterly, ad hoc, and that's rather than being forced to lock it into a rigid income. This gives you flexibility to adjust based on life events, tax considerations, and market conditions as well, because you don't want to be taking a lot of money out when the markets have just dropped. Bad idea. But here's the reality. Consolidation is not actually always the right answer for everyone, nor for every single pension. Whilst it often brings many benefits, there are important factors to consider before making that particular move. For example, some older pension plans come with really valuable guarantees or benefits. Things like guaranteed annuity rates or protected tax-free cash, which means you're entitled to more than the standard 25% tax-free cash that a modern pension would give you. And that actually could mean that those valuable benefits could be completely lost if you transfer out, and you might not know it if you just try and do it yourself. Now, in these cases, consolidating could actually reduce your future income and your flexibility. Additionally, certain pension pots may have exit fees or penalties for transferring out early, and these charges can sometimes outweigh the savings you'd get from lower ongoing fees in a new plan. For example, there's lots of clients in what you call a with profits fund, and they often come with something called a market value adjustment, which means that you actually get penalized for taking your money out at a point where the markets are really low. So just be dead careful about that particular type of plan. It's also crucial to think about the different investment options and services offered by each pension provider. Some older plans might have features that actually suit your unique circumstances better than a new one. That's why it's so important to review every pension carefully before you choose to consolidate. And this is something we actively help our clients with. As you'd expect, we walk them through every single one of their pensions, we identify potential pitfalls, and we explore how to optimize their retirement savings whilst protecting any valuable benefits. So before making any decisions, please make sure you understand what you might be giving up as well as what you stand to gain. Now, managing your pensions effectively isn't just about tidying up your finances, it's about shaping your future. With multiple pots spread across different providers, it's very easy to lose track of your savings or miss out on valuable opportunities. It's also almost impossible to manage your investments properly if they're spread over multiple pots. Pension consolidation gives you greater clarity, potentially lower costs, and better investment choices, but it's never a one-size-fits-all solution. Some pensions come with benefits that are worth preserving. That's why getting expert advice, in our opinion, is essential. That'll let you make informed decisions that align with your long-term goals and secure the retirement you deserve, and also will hold your hand through the whole process, which I think is quite nice. Now that you've learned how consolidating your pensions can help you simplify your finances, reduce reduce your fees potentially, and take back control of your retirement. There's one big question left. Even if you have everything in one place, how much is actually enough to retire comfortably? That number isn't the same for everybody, and in 2025, rising costs, longer lifespans, and new legislation means your target might be higher than you think, or it might be lower. Do you want to find out? Well, in the next video, I'm going to break down exactly how much you'll need to retire well, how to calculate your personal number, and what steps you can take today to close any gap that exists. So folks, click here and I'll see you all over there.